I see one nod, two nods. All right. So that's a good start. Okay. So let's start our day fresh and early. We have the weekend coming up. This is our last day with this topic. So if there is also for the weekend, we're going to be taking suggestions on any other topics that you guys would really like to get addressed. Please send those to us. So you are sending us topics that you would like to get addressed, because we can just take them up one by one now that we have more time together. We'll just address them one after the other. B, we actually received some amazing testimonials from people yesterday, some really transformational stories that were there that we received on personal chat. And it made us so happy to see the transformations that you're making. And it's not just always based on the topic that we're covering or what we're speaking about that day, but how people have made their journeys, whether it's the medical field, whether it's on a career front, whether it's any front at all. It only goes to show how holistic our lives are, in that everything is tied in together. And when we're making progress on one front, automatically the results reflect everywhere. So please, I would like any of you that have your journeys to share. It doesn't have to be monumental, which is why I don't even share the story. It doesn't have to be monumental, or that you have to wait for something huge to come your way. You're making progress every single day. Even if you've just had clarity of thought, share that. Where I'm going to share once we finish our session, or I'll have Mahek share the Google link as well. That is there. The place where most people are simply going to look up what it is. So even today, when you hear someone say, okay, I have this that I would like addressed, or I know my son needs it, or my friend needs it, or whoever needs it, and I tell them, okay, there are all these things that we can do, but why don't you start a daily theta? Because let them experience firsthand the approach to working, what happens, how it happens. But since people are not tuned into what these things are, they'll just look up theta and see the first thing that pops up and go like, okay, yeah, I don't know, maybe another time. I want them to be led by your stories of transformation, where when they look it up, they can read genuine journeys of genuine people. People come in and say, oh, does this testimonial work? I'm like, don't even show it. If you're happy with it, if you've written it with your heart, just go for it. But someone will connect to it. I want them to read those stories. I want you to let people know, if they cannot attend, to get on YouTube and whatever's relevant, to start there. Because the whole idea of this platform is to actually bring it to every home where it is accessible in all manners, in terms of time, in terms of money, where it's accessible to as many as possible. So please, I'm going to have her share the link. Get on there. If there's any of you that feel like, we might even do a giveaway. If there's any of you that feel like, there are your platforms that you would like us to speak at, get in touch with us, and we'll discuss whether and how to go forward with that. Because people here need that awareness. People everywhere need that awareness. And I get it, time is a problem, this is a problem, that is a problem. But let's see what we as a community can do together. So if any of you feel, I feel like, the people that I hang out with, my professional sphere, my friends, whatever it is, we're really stuck in this zone, or, we could really use this transformation. I've been doing it, so I'm understanding a little bit our patterns. Can we do something there? They might not come on the day. Can we do something there? Get in touch with us. Let us see if there's anything we can do about it. We're reaching out to colleges just now because we want to start transformation, start releasing these pressures early. Schools, colleges. If you know that something that's a good fit, let us know. The reason I share this with you, it wasn't even planned, is that, okay, let's do this as a community. If there is something, let's start bringing that shift forward, and let's start bringing that shift in a big manner. All right, if you say this is what needs to be worked on, we can just simply go with that. But even in general, share your topics, share your feedback, share your gratitude, share it where tons of people can benefit from it. I'll have her share the link. And as of now, share your questions, please. Your questions, your journey this week, your experiences, anything goes, or anywhere where you feel you're still stuck on this whole concept that we've been discussing this week, where we're speaking about the alignment within ourselves of thoughts, of action, of words, and of actions. So anyone, please raise your hand, put it on chat. I'll give you guys a little bit. Because from there we build as to whatever it is that we know that most people are facing. There's a ton of you, I'm just looking through the crowd. There's a ton of you that had something to ask, to say on day one. So if any of you have any of those things which you feel are still pending for you, also now's the time. I love how incredibly sorted our sessions are. It's like everyone simply understood. Okay, I'm going to give you all time to do that while I'm talking, but we used to have a Rainbow Kids class that we did, and it was amazing because when you see how quickly kids pick up this stuff, it's mind blowing, right? Because the younger they are, the less conditioned they are. And they're very in touch with their divine selves, with their divine beings. So what we teach adults, maybe over 10 courses, it is taught to them in one class. They used to have a coloring book as a manual. And all their processes and the meditations were through castles and fields and things that ignited their imagination. And we had a batch of 8 to 10-year-olds mostly, and one 5-year-old we'd taken on special permission. And we're teaching them how to do Theta body scans, how to do healings, how to understand negative energies, how to let them go, how to connect to their angels, their life purpose, future readings. It's the Rainbow Children class, and it's all done through games and activities. And the things that those students came up with were incredible. All right. They were so committed. And, we had a bunch of boys in that class. Okay. So they were at a point where literally keeping their eyes closed for 2 minutes for a meditation, they'd be wriggling and, going here, going there, doing something. So we thought, they're not even interested. We don't know what they're doing. But at the end of the meditation, we had something called a talking stick, which used to be passed around. So each person, had to share, because for the kids' meditation, we would take them to a room and tell them that, there is an angel waiting for you there, or there's a creature waiting for you there, and they have a message to give you that's specially for you. So hear what that message is, and we would give them like maybe 10 seconds, because what it takes adults like 2-3 minutes. If we waited for 2 or 3 minutes, they might as well be walking out the door, because they're done with that restless energy. And we thought they're just wiggling around and, like teasing each other and doing that. But when each of them started speaking, what they had to share was beyond incredible, because, this is not something a 9-year-old thinks of or can make up. They were so committed to the classes that one of their moms actually wanted to take them to Disney, like, of course, her kid. And she said, "No, mom, I have class. Can we go another weekend, or you can go, and can I just stay here?" They were so committed. And she said, now the kids these days are so different. Their curiosities are different. They have different sort of questions. They want to understand how the world works, why it works a certain way, why people think a certain way. She keeps watching Discovery Channel and National Geographic all the day. And then she keeps asking me these, brilliant questions, which I don't have an answer to. And she looks me straight in the face and says, "Mom, did you not go to school?" And I'm like, "No, I did go to school. We just didn't engage in this sort of after school TV at that point." But whenever she came to class, "You have any questions?" "No." And she had a lot of curiosity. Okay, they used to do future readings about what's going to happen on the planet, not like, oh, am I going to get this, go for this holiday or no? And her mom's like, why don't you just ask the questions in class? And she's like, no, I understand everything there. It's home that I find confusing. So I have no questions there. And this daily theta reminds me of exactly that sort of thing. No questions, which is perfect. There's a comment, and then I'm going to simply channel if there's any downloads. Do we do the Rainbow Children Kit course online? No, that is actually licensed by the Think Institute. And it varies from age group to age group how it's conducted, because teenagers are, of course, not going to want to do activities and things like that. So they're taught in a crisper and faster format. Those permissions haven't come online, but we are doing a course for kids online. We've done courses on how they can tap into their emotions, what they can do. We have courses for different ages and age groups that we're doing, which we are going to bring online now. Even the college and school ones we're doing online, because it's an equally confusing and frustrating time for them as well. When you do a download or a B for us, the change to us doesn't come immediately, right? We need to hear it often, because I don't feel the difference immediately, like how other members feel. It's taking some time. So why can't I see immediate difference, like what other people feel? Okay. So now you have to understand, you guys, anytime we're doing downloads, we're doing B, we're doing a release. What we're doing is we're tapping into the energy of those things. Whenever we do a hypnosis, theta healing, even the meditations that we do, they're not regular meditations. They have no meditations generally. We do it in a deeper way. In the daily theta, we might be doing a regular guided meditation. But if you remember the week where we did only meditations, there'd be very deep hypno meditations. Now, anytime you're doing any of those things, or when you're closing your eyes and you're absolutely connected to that, you're automatically in a trance-like state. You're in a state where we've created a bridge between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. When we have this bridge between your conscious and your subconscious mind, what essentially happens is that the problems that we have are generally in our thoughts, in our analysis, in our rationalization of things. As I'm so nice to them, why are they this way to me? Right? They're in a conscious mind level. We'll take up this topics, I think, some week now that I'm speaking about it, if we get a chance, the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, understanding it better. The reason we feel bad, though, the solution, the answer to that question, though, lies in your subconscious mind, which is where your experiences lie. So your experiences are why you might be behaving, reacting a certain way. They frame that. We've discussed that in different angles. So of course you understand that. Or also your experiences, when you've had a certain type of experience enough times, that is the seed origin of where your belief starts. Why you believe that, I cannot trust anyone, or I believe that this is true, or I believe that, you have to work hard, or I believe that good things take time, or something that comes in a certain amount, that's going to be more consistent, whatever the belief is. In general, your beliefs, your experiences are all in the subconscious mind. So now the problem lies up, the solution lies down. So many times, the reason we get frustrated and we cannot get anywhere is because we don't quite know how to tap that subconscious mind. And I cannot operate completely from a subconscious zone as well. I need my conscious mind also to be actively involved, to be able to understand, to have the rationalization, to see the experience and go like, yes, but this is what actually I need to take from it. All right, we'll definitely do this in detail. I'll see how best to bring it forward on our platform. But what any of these modalities do, it's not one or the other. Anything, whether it's B, whether it's theta, whether it's hypnosis, whether it's any modality where you are in that connected state, is they create a bridge between your conscious and your subconscious mind, so that the changes that now happen are not opposed by one or the other, and they're more fluid. All right, so now downloads are not a 21-day thing generally. Sure, if you can hear them for that many days, great, because you're literally giving yourself that fodder for 21 days. Okay, they're also not a miracle pill, any of these things where suddenly everything goes away. Now, where is the difference between somebody experiencing something almost immediately and someone taking a little while to experience it? It comes from, of course, our beliefs, our understanding of how things take place, of how quickly something can change. And this is, something that's absolutely common. So don't worry about that at all. Now, if someone has a headache, for instance, all right, and they say, I sat for this daily theta session or I went for a therapy. And after one session, my headache was gone. It's just gone. It's never come back. Would you guys believe it? Yes or no? Shilpa says no. What about the rest? Yes. Geeta says yes. All right. So many yeses. There's the no. So remember that. All right. And now, so headache is something a lot of people do believe because it's easy. It's easy. If you can believe a croissant you took can make your headache go away in half an hour, or an Eno that you're taking for an upset stomach can make you better in 6 seconds, I don't see why a headache cannot go away after 1 hour of work where you're actually tapping the core. But again, like, see, now you see where the belief, it's like, no, I can't fathom that. So of course, your mind has to work at your pace. How do I say, I'm working with your mind. So even if, it looks like I'm doing it, I can at max go to a 50 or 60% at max. But 40 to 50% of the work will always have to be yours because your mind has to agree with that. So many times when people call and they're like, yeah, but can this really happen? This definitely cannot happen. And then ask whatever questions you have, read whatever you need to, understand it. But when you come in, I would rather that it doesn't have to mean that you understand exactly how everything works. It could be your faith in the other person. It could be your faith in the reference you've got. It could be that I just want a solution. I don't care who's giving it to me. It could be your faith that I am going to get this problem solved. And if this is the person I'm doing it with, then so be it. It could be anything. But you need to have that level of faith when you're coming there, because otherwise you're spending a session or two simply with you resisting and me working. So your process is slower. I don't mind. I'm charging by the hour, but your process, you're going to spend a lot of that time resisting what is that. Now, I asked you about the headache. Now, from the same crowd, if I tell you that, someone came in with cancer and they've done these sessions and now they're absolutely fine in a session or two, would you believe it as easily? Show me your nods and tell me whether it's a yes or a no, and whatever it is, be honest. Okay. So where, I can see only a couple of you here, but where I had seen one no and 3 yeses, I can see basically 4 of you here. All right. I see this time more skepticism that is there and more leaning towards Geeta was like, yes, but the other like, no, maybe no, sort of a thing. All right. Now here's where our belief, our thoughts, our experience comes into counting. When we're teaching theta to people, the first thing we say is headache is an imbalance in the body, right? There's an imbalance happening at a physical, at an emotional level. There's something that's not right, which needs to be fixed. If it was something that was simply chemical, simply medical, me taking that medicine once and fixing that should make sure the problem never comes back. If it's coming again and again, it means there's some emotion, some layer that needs to be looked at. There's some disturbance within the body's energy system, which needs to be addressed, which it is drawing your attention to through this headache. All right. That's the case for a headache. That's the case for a cancer. They're both disruptions in the body's system. However, yesterday we spoke about outside influences. We spoke about our own experiences. We spoke about what we have known or heard. We speak about the reports we read. which is why in our mind, a headache is solvable. You can take a medicine and be fine. Cancer, that's not a one medicine thing. You can't expect magic to happen. So in my mind, I've built one thing as small and one thing as big, and which is then how my mind will process it. I think I've told you guys on the platform so many times that we have some who literally their pain's gone, but they cannot process the fact that it can be gone that quick. So they will keep checking and keep checking and keep checking. And the universe responds to your energy. So it'll say, here, take it. You want it? All right, no problem. It's not judging you. It's absolutely fine with you making that decision, but it simply responds to energy. So if the energy is seeking that pain, it gives them that pain. Now, in our experiences, in our thoughts, in our understanding, when we feel like one thing is so much bigger than the other, that's how we'll respond. Kids heal like this. Their cancers also heal like this, which is why we've had kids who you ask them, okay, how do you want to get better? Can I just get better by tomorrow? They believe that they can bring the moon down. We're not up for debates and discussing whether the moon can come down or not. But it's about when I believe anything is possible, it works at that speed. And we've seen that for kids again and again and again and again. This batch that was there was 8 to 9-year-olds, right? Mostly. So I told you they were, otherwise they're doing masti, this, that. Now when they were taught how to do body scans, which is something we teach in Theta, we asked, they would be done with everything we had to teach them in less time than was designed for it. And the time that was designed for it was probably 15 minutes. In the DNA 3 level, which is a much higher level of Theta healing, we teach things like moving objects with the power of your mind. All right. And because it's a much higher level because it requires a lot of unconditioning for us to think that that is possible and, it's magic. And there's a whole science behind it, which is explained at that point. All right. So adults, after having done that many releases, that many workshops coming there, still on that day, like, I don't know what you're talking about. Let's see if it happens. So they take a whole day and still we have 30% of people who say it didn't happen, which is all right. Kids have this as part of their Rainbow Children class. So of course we're like, oh my God, today is going to be tough, right? Because we're adults too. So we also have our own filters. And within the first 5 minutes of them entering the class, they're like, yeah, we're done. Now what? And we're like, no, that's not what happens. You have to actually move that object, by the like, oh God, yeah, okay, see, now this moved, right? Now can we move on from here? And so we were literally teaching extra stuff because we had something to do for those 2 hours. So for adults, we put a tissue paper or a pencil for them to move. These guys were moving thick Discovery Kids books. And they were just like, I don't understand the big fuss. I'm done. Now what? They did body scans, and there's, I had my helper who used to be there, and he had this leg problem that was there. So we just told them, do a body scan, and each of them had such a similar scan. They're like, the cartilage has this problem, and then this. I couldn't remember. I didn't have kids at that time. I didn't know what kids learn when they're 9 years old. So we had one mother in that class, and I'm like, what is your son learning in school just now? Are they learning the human body? She's like, no, we're still learning about the planets and the solar system. So I thought, how did you know things like cartilage and this ligament is torn over here and this and that? And then she's like, I don't need to know. I just went up and asked the creator and he told me. So I told you. We're like, that works. And we have adults who will be sitting in a class where we're explaining to them, this is a ligament, this is a cartilage. And still when they're doing a scan, they'll ask you ridiculous. They're like, oh, so I've seen a picture of the nervous system from front. What does it look like from behind? I'm like, I genuinely don't have answers for you at this point. But there's the difference between what we believe can happen and what, how quickly something can happen or not. So many times we've seen, parents come with their kids for a session, and we know that they just wanted to bring the parent, they're not at a conscious level, because their problem is solved in 1 hour. But now the parent like, oh, so actually this is something I need to look at, right? Like, yeah, I mean, ideally, if you don't want your kids going through this pattern again and again, and then they sit and work on. Kids sometimes are very attached, who will invite problems also just to bring their parents to a level of awareness, because that parent who's been working so hard to provide for the kid, to do everything, to bring the world for the kid, forgets sometimes to look at themselves. Okay, so A is the difference in our beliefs and our thoughts. And B is also, I mean, which is kind of in a similar frame, but we have our own filters that it has to go through. So now sometimes when people are also working on something, the reason I always talk to you guys about something before simply releasing it is because when we're talking about something, it might bring up a thought for you, it might bring up an experience for you, right? It might bring, or when we're doing a meditation, sometimes somebody will say, you know, it just reconnected me to this moment. In that moment, in that thought, if you are really ready to let it go, because sometimes I'm ready to let something go, but it's sitting deep down. So I have these clothes that removed to give away, right? And they're just all piled up. And now somebody comes and asks me for sweaters, and I know I have them put aside somewhere. But when I have to look in a whole carton of clothes for that sweater or for that cardigan, it's going to require some struggling. I might be like, yeah, I don't have it. I might find it, I might not find it in that given moment when somebody's at my door. But it's like when I've shaken you up, when everything's just like out and about, or, you know, when that kid is just gone and, you know, dropped that cardboard box and everything is on the floor. And then somebody walks in and says, can I have the cardigan? You're like, yeah, you're take, bye, finish. Sometimes that happens with our experiences also. Sometimes we get there through the understanding we have. Sometimes we get that there through something triggering us. You know, and we've had that happen in class also, where somebody's like, but I don't have anything to work on. I mean, things are good, and they must be. But there's something that really affects them, you know, and their mom has been telling them or criticizing them for a while, or, you know, they've been feeling a certain emotion. And now what happens is they don't know what we're going to learn the next day. But when their mind is really geared to release and like, I want to get this out, and their mind knows that it's stuck there, that morning, somehow, on the way there, before coming in, they happen to have a major fight with that person. Now they're really triggered. They remember everything that hurt them about it. And they come in there and they literally, like in half an hour, they get it out. Because it's already on the surface, so it just gets swept out. All right. So sometimes it takes a little while, sometimes it takes a little longer. Of course, you guys, your actions after it also determine it. We're setting a new path. It's like making a new road. We're making that new road. Now, why do affirmations or some techniques that you do it for 21 days is to make sure you're cementing that same road again and again till it becomes an established path. So you do not walk on wet cement. This is a lot quicker. But so we don't tell you, no, you have to do this for 21 days. There's so many people who choose to, but when you're either doing that at the thought level or at an action level, thoughts, words, actions, right? As long as I'm changing these three in some capacity or the other, that shift will happen. So and people are different. So people will take different approaches. Somebody is very action oriented. They'll just start, you know, implementing one thing from that day itself. Somebody is still stuck in their thoughts. So they want to look at how at a thought level, at least they're making it extremely strong so that that is the first thought they go to. Somebody, you know, speaks about doing a million things, doesn't do them or does them. Then their words matter. Are their words, is the narrative that they're using the one they used to use before? Or the one that they've come to believe now? As long as you have shifted your frequency at any level, the shift will definitely happen. But that responsibility is upon each person individually, because you're taught everything in school, but then for you, as to how you apply it will always be different. But understand, even if nothing else happens, the fact that you sit there, the fact that you do that session for half an hour, it is clearing off. If for some person it's actually cleared off all the clutter, for another person it's not done that, but it's at least going to dust off one layer, right? So at least there's a person who's sitting in cleaning. I'm calling a cleaning lady every day. She might be very efficient, or she might simply be dusting it, but I'm at least making sure no new dust is forming there. I'm making sure I'm clearing a little at a time. And you will be surprised as to when you actually start talking and how in your thoughts and words it's already different. So daily theta was a different module for all of us, because we'd never done this half an hour, daily thing. And we didn't even know what we were going to talk about, what was going to happen. It was just like, yeah, okay, we can do this. So yes, it framed to this, but before that we've experienced workshops, we've experienced sessions where the processes are a lot deeper, where the time that they're committed to shifting something is a lot more. So when a person comes for a workshop, I can tell them for sure, I'm like, okay, I know that there's going to be this amount of change, even whether you feel it right away, whether you feel it after 10 days, because you're spending those 3 days, those 5 days, those 10 days working on a particular thing at a deep level, at a personal level. So there I know that the shift is going to happen. You just got to accept it. We have students who message like years after a course and they go like, I think I'm ready to learn now. I'd come at that time, but I think there was so much happening that my mind wasn't there. And every time you're learning something, every time you're changing, every time you're evolving, whether through your experience you will learn, or you can learn in this manner through understanding and simplifying your experiences. Because the minute your mind understands, oh, this can happen this way too. So I'm opening something a very complicated way. You opened Zoom for the first time, you didn't know how it happened. You went, you clicked on 10 buttons, did it. Now you're using, now somebody told you, oh, you just need to click this one link and it's going to open up for you. You've learned an easier way to do that. So you're going to do it in that easier way. Same thing happens with your thoughts. When something you're shifting every day, your mind realizes that. Now you will see when you're talking to people around you, they'll be like, like somehow, you say something that inspires me every time. So shifts are happening. They will happen at the pace that you're ready for, because we're working with your mind. So I always tell you people that it's the safest way therapy to do, because there's no side effects. And one thing is for sure, that your mind, even if you really trust me, you really want to listen to me, your mind is always going to listen to you first. Your mind is always going to honor what you want first, what you believe in first. So if I believe you can start walking in 2 days, it doesn't matter. If your mind believes it takes 2 months, it takes 2 months. So it will operate at that rate. So they go like, no, so I have this problem. How many sessions I have to come for? I mean, I could answer that question, but I'd be lying, because when you'll come in, let's do a session. Let it happen. Come for the second session. Let it be a simple review, if nothing else. But when we understand at that time the amount your mind has done in that much time, we first teach ways to tap into that potential that the mind already has, for it to realize it could bring that much transformation. That's when I know the pace your mind is ready to operate at. And that's how I have to drive them. If I'm going to push it beyond its limit, it's going to resist me. So it's always a go at your pace thing. I'm going to push you a little harder, but go at your pace. And anytime a person is learning, whether you're learning how to skate, you're learning how to cycle, you're learning how to swim, they're pushing you a little bit beyond your comfort, but they're not, we don't want to, if I'm going to just simply throw you from the deep end when you don't know how to swim, you might get scared and never take up swimming again. If you're nudged and pushed correctly, slowly you start trusting the instructor in a manner where you'll be like, you know what? If they've told me I'm ready to dive, I'm ready to dive. That's what's going to happen. Okay. So during your downloads, whenever you say for your highest and best, my mind goes into fear mode. What if it is not meant for me? So if it is not meant for you, this command is actually for exactly that. Since we're working with so many people, and even when we do downloads on an individual level. So I'm addressing Jasel's question on the chat about using the term for your highest and best, about any fear that comes up as to whether something is for our highest and best or not. So working on so many people, but even when we're working individually, we always prefer to use for your highest and best and in your highest and best manner, for simply this, that today you, me, any of us are going to understand to a certain limit of perception. Our perception is limited to what we know, what we understand. It applies as much to me as it does to you. My experience, my perception is also going to be limited. It might be more than yours for a certain topic. All right. But the universe's perspective is going to be a lot bigger. Together, we could come and think of three solutions for this. The universe might have a completely different and better solution for it, which is way beyond our perception also. That's when we call it magic, right? So the actual reason for using that is exactly that there needs to be no fear, because we're asking for exactly what we want, and at the same time surrendering to the universe for it to happen in the manner that is for our highest and best, and to the extent that is for our highest and best. So anything we're doing, from aligning your chakras, opening them up, balancing them, releasing something, downloading something, it's always said in this, so which also affects the speed at which it's going to be done for you, because your mind will go with what is suited for your pace, for your speed. Okay, so this is actually to ensure that there's nothing to be scared of, because we're not just simply releasing and letting the bulls out. We're making sure that it's happening in a manner that is meant for your highest and best. For your journey of evolution will happen in the way also that is the smoothest, the highest, the best for you. It's not in any really disruptive way or something. All right. So I hope that answers your questions. I'm going to quickly connect and do some downloads for what we've spoken about today. All right. So can we download for everyone that I know and understand the creator of all that is his definition and perspective of surrender, of faith, of trust, that I know and understand what it feels like, how to, when to, and that it is safe and possible. For me to know what it feels like to have faith and trust in the universe, faith and trust in my higher self, faith and trust in my life's journey, and to have faith and trust in my own intuition within my own self and my own understanding and judgment, that I have faith and trust in my journey that I am making here on this planet, and that I know what it feels like to live my daily life with this faith and trust, and to allow it to show me the path forward, for me to allow that intuition, that universal guidance, that path to be a beautiful one for me, to be a happy one for me, that I have faith and trust that I know what it is like to incorporate learnings, to incorporate change into my life that is truly meant for me and for my highest and best, in a manner that is seamless, in a manner that is beautiful, and in a manner that is without resistance, that I allow change, that I know that it is safe for me to change, for me to transform, and for me to put my best foot forward, that I know what it feels like, how to, when to, and that it is safe and possible for me to surrender to the universe, for me to be able to surrender and to know that there is always a higher plan for things, for me to be able to surrender when I require that help, when I require that universal assistance, or when I require assistance within and around me, that it is all right to ask for that assistance. and to know what it is like to be able to trust people around me, to be able to trust the universe, to be able to trust my instincts and my own gut, and to be able to take actions forward with having this trust and allowing my intuition to guide me. That I also know what it feels like. That as I have faith, that as I have trust, for me to honor and knowing and understanding, honoring and understanding different journeys as per the creator of all that is his definition and perspective from the seventh plane. I know what it feels like to be able to honor my journey and honor the journey of those around me when we make any sort of shift, when we are looking to evolve emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually. I know what it feels like to be able to honor another's journey and to have my journey honored, to understand that while that we all run the race, or we all run our life's journey at our own pace, and that the control is in my hands, that I know that it is absolutely safe and possible for me to turn up the pace or turn down the pace, or to know what it is like to empower myself and to shift realities, for me to know that the remote is always in my hand. So I release any helplessness and choose to feel empowered instead, as I understand that shifts happen for me, changes happen for me at the pace that I've always been used to, and that it is safe for me to usher into new change, into positive vibrations onto my journey forward in a manner that is seamless, in a manner that is beautiful, in a manner that is aligned with my true potential and in alignment with my higher self, with my life goal, with my divine timing and my principles. That I choose to surrender and to move forward now, releasing any need within me to be fixated at a certain pace of growing or to be fixated with a certain way of thinking. I understand now that transformation is beautiful and that it comes to me seamlessly and that it flows through me equally beautifully, and that I allow this now. Would you like this download into every cell, atom, molecule of your body, every area of your life, at all four levels of your belief systems, in any and every language you may have ever known or understood for your highest and best and in your highest and best manner? Simply affirm yes to receive the energy of this download. Simply feeling, visualizing as though all of these feelings, all of these downloads enter your space like a beautiful waterfall of golden light, entering your mind, your body, your space, your soul, and warmly filling these up into every cell, atom, molecule of your body, to every area of your life, at all the levels of your beliefs and perceptions. Feel the energy of it, knowing and trusting the universe that it only has your best interests in mind, and so does your mind. It only wants what's best for you, or what it believes is best for you. Feeling the energy of these downloads, enjoying them, feeling energized by the same, feeling grounded and integrated. Whenever you feel ready, you may open your eyes. So I see that you guys are all back. So a beautiful weekend, everybody. Okay, share with us the things that we said, share with us topics that you need, share with us your journeys of transformation, all the amazing feedback, the gratitude that you always have. Let's put that forward. We'll share with you the links that are there to put that feedback ahead. Share with us if you feel like this is something that needs to be taken forward anywhere else as well. And other than that, share with us the space of your beautiful light and your smiles as you go through this weekend. See you all on Monday.